Back in the workshop then, another little fast and dirty job to repair this coffee table of a friend. So it's just, you know, 1980s I should think, ceramic tile top, which are stuck down onto a chipboard type board material, and then the legs here are just screwed in like so, screwed down like that into a pattern like this, which has got the nuts countersunk below. Now on this end, this has been knocked off. Somebody's foot or hoover or something, I don't know, but it's split off. So how to repair it? Well, the reason why I'm just doing this quick video is the virtues of using epoxy glues. They've transformed boat building over the last 40 odd years, and also repairs and restorations. There's a sort of fine line between a bodge and a decent sort of bespoke repair, I suppose, and some people would frown on using lots of glue and things like that, but using this as an example, what's the alternative really? Because these screws originally came through from the top of the table, but of course that is now underneath there. As you saw earlier, we've got our ceramic tiles, so we're not going to destroy all that just to get at 3 screws. There's no need, and these screws are all still sound. Amazingly, this has ripped off without pulling through that board. Now we could just cut those off, place that back in place and screw through this bit of teak or Aroco, whichever it is, into there, but screws don't hold into this fiberboard so well, so we probably wouldn't really want to do that. So we're going to use some sort of glue to glue that back in. But the great thing with epoxy is that you can mix in different fibres and thickening agents and things like that, and make it a structural glue. And so what I'm going to do is, rather than go, you know, cutting these off and screwing through and all the rest of it, I'm just going to open up these holes so that this piece can then fall back into position, and then I'm going to use the glue not only as an adhesive to glue it all back into this, but also as a structural gap filling to go around these threads. So essentially those screws will be as good as the day they were put in, and the whole thing will probably actually be better than original. So let's get to it. Now to open up these holes, I'm just going to use a drill bit, but in this case I'm going to use a Forstner bit. That will come up there. So it's a sort of square bottom to it, nice round parallel hole. Now as you can see, hopefully on here, it's got a centerpiece there that usually would, when you're just starting a hole first, it will just engage. But of course here we've already got a hole and it's just going to wobble all over the place. So how to get around that accurately? Simplest and easiest thing to do is to find an old bit of scrap, drill a hole in it, which I've done there. Okay, so now I can use this as a fence, if you like, to then come over my existing hole. I can hold that in place and then run the drill bit through there. So I can be as accurate as I want to now in terms of placing that drill bit. Screws, counterboard holes, look. There you go, fits down perfectly. Right, there's my epoxy. I haven't quite stirred it up yet. That's just neat, that's the 2 parts just put in there. I'm not going to waste a brush on this. Nice little sort of 1-inch brush would be perfect really for this job. But I've just got a bit of scrap here that I've turned into a stick. And the thinner the better at the end there. So with epoxy, one thing you need to make sure that it's well and truly mixed, so don't skimp on that. And one of the best ways of getting a really good bond is to prime the surfaces first, just with neat epoxy, before you add any filler to here. It just allows it to soak in, get that bond, especially in these holes and things like that. So here we go now. I've got thickened the epoxy up now with some, in this case, some colloidal silica. You could use microfibers, you could use sawdust, you could use almost anything really. I've now turned that into a nice paste. Okay, so just this is going to be gap filling, which is the whole point of it. So squidge it all on. So it'll ooze out in a minute in those holes. Right. Just a quick repair, glued on there, super strong. Hopefully never to come off ever again.